So here is a short tutorial on how to export stems. So what we would like to do is export all of these group tracks into stems. So what we'll do is first make sure that all of the files in each of the groups are the same length, which I've already done. But if you would like to do that, you just select the entire range and you say Command, or rather Option, Shift, and 3. And that will make all of these lengths exactly the same, which is useful because the locators will follow suit, as well as being able to easily import and assess how long each clip is, because they'll essentially all be the same length. So there'll be no confusion at the import into the next session. So that's worth considering. Okay, and then what you do is, just to, before we do that, this is an explanation of the routing that I'm using. I have the drums all in a group, the two bass elements in a group, keys, brass, lead vocals, and all of the effects. And then that's all routed into the mix bus. So what I'll do is select all of these, as I've done, right click and commit. Then I'm faced with this dialog, which I'm going to tick all of these because I would like to include all of the processing in it. And then this here, which is insert the committed files back into the project folder. And in that way, it will be imported into this project folder after this over here. If you don't do that, it will just essentially, the drums committed folder will file will be imported back in under the drums, and for the bass and keys, etc. So I'd like to keep them all grouped separately at the bottom, so that it's which will make more sense later. So I push commit, push OK. Cool. So they're all committed, and I'm going to group them. Command G. Call them stems. All right. If I solo them all together now.
Anytime we have a date, but I love her. Yes,
And then if I mute them and unsolo them, I will essentially be listening to the original mix.
Anytime we have a date, but I love
And that sounds exactly the same, which means it was successful.
her. Yeah.
Cool. So I've got all of the stems exported, or rather committed. And then what I'm going to do is take all of them together like this, and then Command, Shift, and K. And that brings up this dialog. I can also go here and export clips as files, which is Command, Shift, and K. And that's the same thing. So Command, Shift, and K with knowing the shortcut. And then what I'm going to do is take a look at the options, and I'm going to keep this sample rate export as 44.1 because that's what the project is at. Then I'm going to choose the destination folder. So I've already set up the destination folder, which is stems. And if you don't have that, you just create one. And I'm going to open and then export. And then go and check the destination folder. There they all are. And let's double check. And this CM over here means committed.
Hearts done gone out.
They're all there. And one thing to consider when you're mixing is that when we are exporting all of these effects, essentially the whole project's effects have been bussed into this. So they're all orcsed over here and then grouped in a routing folder, which is one way to do it. However, as you can tell, the lead vocal not is without any reverb when we export the stem. So if you would like the lead vocal to have the reverbs or delays or whatever it is that you would like that you do put on your lead vocal, then maybe a good idea to is to keep the reverbs in that grouping folder or in that routing folder. Um, that's a workflow that you're going to have to decide on. But essentially, if somebody imports the session or these stems into another session, they'll have drums, bass, keys, brass, lead vocals with all the processing. There isn't much on this processing at this point, but it will keep all the processing, and then also all of the effects are kept over there. All right, I hope that was useful.